How we doing, folks? This is Scott Moore from Whack Outdoors coming at you this morning with a live report from the tree stand. But as I said, I am human, and I have a report this morning for the traditional bow hunting community at large. I got within 10 yards of a sow this morning, a hog, weighed at least 200 pounds, 10-yard shot. The equipment's running, the wind's blowing. She had no idea I was anywhere in the world. Quartering away, 10-yard shot, everything perfect. And I missed her. Elevation was good. I shot to the left, missed her by a foot to the left. So obviously I had an absolute breakdown in form, had an absolute breakdown in my controlled shot process, whatever you want to say. I bit the big one this morning. I went from a winner to a wiener, and it only took about 4 seconds. So it happens to everybody. But that's not why I turned the camera on. I've noticed in a lot of these groups on Facebook and other social media outlets, a lot of guys are new to what we do, and they're exploring different equipment options, and they're asking questions about broadheads, bows, limbs, arrows, everything else. And I see a lot of guys that because they're just testing the waters in our sport, they don't want to spend a lot of money on equipment, which is absolutely understandable. But I see a lot of guys putting up pictures of broadheads made overseas, arrow made overseas, and asking, will this work? And I notice that the same guys are wanting to wear hunting apparel that by the time they buy the pants, the jacket, the vest, and a hat, they have literally spent over $1,000. And I'm not knocking companies, and I'm not mentioning brand names, but we all know that there are clothing manufacturers out today that are popular in our community that are quite pricey. And honestly, if you're hunting out of state in rugged terrain and adverse weather conditions, you do get what you paid for. And that higher priced clothing that is technical clothing, you might very well need it and be getting your money's worth out of it. But the message that I want to bring this morning, my report from the tree stand, and why I turned the camera on, I want to encourage and admonish you folks. In particular, if you're hunting in the southeast or the eastern United States, where for the most part our climate is not too harsh, you just absolutely do not need to spend a tremendous amount of money on your hunting clothing. And I think we would be better served if we spend that money on our limbs, our arrows, and our broadheads. A lot of you guys are getting into the ILF realm now, and of course I shoot ILF and I'm all for it, but just as a word of advice of what I've found to be true for myself, there are a lot of aftermarket risers out there. There's some inexpensive risers. I say go for it and use them. But when you're looking at limbs, if you have to make the choice between a $240 hunting coat and a set of limbs, instead of buying a $240 hunting coat and a $140 set of limbs, I would encourage you to explore spending more money on the limbs and maybe backing up a little bit on the clothing. The same with broadheads, and the same with arrows. And again, we're hearing logging equipment all around me. For you guys who are just joining me, they're cutting timber in my entire hunting area. I'm hunting in and around and in between logging trucks, bulldozers, and everything else. But as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, the animals cannot transport themselves out of this area. They've got it, they're here. So they're getting shoved into the areas of thicker cover, rougher terrain, that isn't being timbered. So I have actually had a very successful season. I've done very well hunting these pockets of rough terrain, hard to get to, in amongst the logging activity. What can I say? But anyway, back to the clothing situation. You guys have seen me in a lot of my photos, and you know I wear purchased hunting gear, but I don't share everything I do. I don't share everything I shoot, but I want you to know that for different circumstances, I wear different clothing. If I'm hunting in a tree stand, you know, I try to make sure my clothing's scent free and this and that and everything else. But if I'm going to get out banging around, exploring no territory and running back and forth, and a lot of times I don't wear the same clothing because I know I'm going to get it dirty and have to clean it or whatever. But if you are willing to buy into the concept that any clothing that is quiet fabric and earth toned is suitable for hunting, you can find great financial relief for your hunting endeavor. Obviously, this is an Asbel wool hunting coat that costs a little bit of money, but it's one of my favorites. I wear it all the time. But the shirt that I'm wearing is a flannel shirt from Walmart that cost under $12. If you can see the pants I'm wearing, a little bit of them, Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply sells these pants in earth tones, 100% cotton. These pants at Tractor Supply cost $11.89. I have killed more game than you could imagine wearing these earth tone pants that cost under 20 bucks, an earth tone flannel shirt from Walmart or another discount store. So I just thought I'd show you what I hunt in a lot that I have acquired recently, how much it cost, and where I got it. And I am encouraging you folks, especially if you're just getting into the sport, don't buy $1,000 worth of hunting clothes and use cheap broadheads and cheap arrows. I would really encourage you to spend your money on your arrows and your broadheads and your limbs for your bow. And if you got to back off on expenditures, I'd back off in the clothing. That's just me. But again, I went hunting this morning, got a 10-yard shot. I hunt all the time in this stuff. $12 flannel shirt from Walmart. $11.89 for these earth tone colored pants in several different colors from Tractor Supply. And what I want you to see, I have hanging behind me on this tree limb. That right there is a real nice wool sweater that I bought at the Goodwill store for under $6. Beside it is a Woolrich plaid vest that I love. I've worn for several years. Bought that off of eBay. I'm thinking $30. But beside the wool vest, there is a green plaid fleece pullover, really heavy duty. I bought that at Sam's Club. Right now, Sam's Club's got a ton of earth tone plaids and pullovers and button-down flannel shirts. Fantastic for hunting, around $16. And finally, on the very left there, that's one of my favorite flannel shirts to wear hunting. That thing costs under $14. So 9 times out of 10, when I'm hunting in the woods, everything I have on my body costs less than $100. And nothing I've ever shot has complained. They've never said a word about what I'm wearing. So my tip for you gentlemen this morning, tip number 1, we are all human. We all miss. I missed a big hog this morning. Just get back in the saddle, continue practicing, get back out there, shoot with confidence, and you will connect the next time. As far as hunting clothing goes, take a good look at any earth tone, quiet material that is relatively inexpensive from your local stores, and it doesn't hit your pocketbook as hard. It gives you the ability to have 4 or 5 changes of hunting clothes that are clean and not all sweaty. So if you have a 3-day weekend or a chance to hunt and you want to have clean clothes on every time that you hit the woods, you have a lot to choose from, and don't burn through your supply of hunting clothes, and don't have a whole lot of money invested in them. So that is my report from the tree stand today. That's my little tip for you guys. I hope you appreciate it. As always, this is Scott Moore from Whack Outdoors. God bless. I hope to see you in the woods and on the trail.